This is Disco Elysium designed to captivate the TikTok audience. That is not something I came up with. That is the line that Zaum used when they announced the mobile port of 2019's Disco Elysium. I've had access to it for a few days, I've been playing around with it, and overall, as a port, it's really cool. They have done some really interesting things to make it work for the platform that people are going to be playing it on. But it was the fact that they framed it as being designed to captivate the TikTok audience. That really stuck out to me. I'm gonna completely hold my hands up and say that when I read the headline, I took the piss out of it. But then again, I'm only human and I work in corporate media, so give me a break. So I was playing the game on my Android tablet with that in mind the whole time. First of all, what does it mean to captivate the TikTok user? How do you even judge that as a success? And why in particular is it Disco Elysium that got this kind of treatment? So to start, what is my history with Disco Elysium? Well, I love it. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I played it when it first came out in 2019. It was my favorite game of the year. I replayed it when it came out a couple of years later with the final cut and all the voice acting and everything. I love this game. But I will say, it's not really been smooth sailing for the studio ever since the game was released. There have been a lot of high-profile lawsuits and departures, and I'm not going to really delve into any of that in this video. There are other amazing videos and sources you can go check out if you want to learn more. As it currently stands, the team at Zaum are working on a brand new game. It's called C4, as well as releasing the Disco Elysium mobile port. I've been playing it, and honestly, I'm really impressed with it. It's a really intuitive way of interacting with the game. You're not walking around and controlling Harry by, putting some kind of touchscreen controller on there. It is built as a touch-first experience. So look, I'm in the environment, I'm tapping on things and it just comes up with a pop-up and it just works. Because I'm not walking around as this static camera in the middle of the environment, it kind of gives it a different perspective than the more isometric. And it feels like, I don't know, I kind of like it. It feels like I'm way more in the world of Revachol. Even the UI is all completely different, but it's really accessible. I can just check out what I'm supposed to be doing, or I can look at my thoughts, my clothes, my inventory. Money low, but morale is very high.
Like
in real life. All the sound effects are in there. The music from Sea Power. We've got still this beautiful painterly art style that I fell in love with in 2019 is still just as gorgeous on this screen, and you kind of get to see it from I don't know, it feels like a more intimate, up close and personal viewing angle. So overall, I'm playing it, I'm really enjoying it. The first 2 episodes are free, and then it is $10 to unlock the full game. And I'm gonna do that. I'm one of those people who just enjoys having my games on multiple platforms. Just look at how many times I've replayed Mass Effect. But the whole thing about this is that this is Disco Elysium to be captivating to the TikTok user. Well, is it? Is it? Let's ask a TikTok user. Yes, hi, surprise, it's me. I'm a TikTok enjoyer and user. I got on board with TikTok in maybe 2018, 2019 when it was really popping off over here in the United States. And now I can comfortably say that unfortunately it is a part of my daily routine.
How much TikTok do you look at in a day?
Ooh, let's find out. This week, yeah, it's like an hour every day. Yeah, 3.5 hours total this week. Let's go a couple weeks ago.
That's what, less than, it's Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, here it goes. Oh, okay, like a few weeks ago, it was 11.5 hours.
Nice.
That's not...
Think about the 11.5 hours you could have spent playing Disco Elysium on Android.
Didn't have the code then. I spend a lot of time scrolling. My hobby is phone. I spend some evenings sometimes just looking at TikTok videos instead of doing something like reading a book or playing a game, which is the thing that I do for my job and love and my main hobby. Instead, maybe I'll watch a video of someone else's experience with a game or someone else talking about a game, but not experiencing it myself. That's weird to say out loud, and I feel very vulnerable. It's also not just me, by the way, although this is a story about me. A lot of studies are coming out to say that TikTok, on average, commands more attention than its competing social media platforms. Like, people spend twice as much time on TikTok than they do on Instagram. It's probably because Instagram gets TikToks like 2 weeks later, am I right? Late with those memes. Hello, this is Lucy from the future. I was editing together this video and I realized that something wasn't quite coming together, and I realized that I skipped over quite a lot. I've obviously been leaning into TikTok because it was what was used in the marketing materials for Disco Elysium on mobile, right? It's to captivate the TikTok user. Why is that so important? It's because we have to look at how we got here when it came to mass adoption of the internet. It's not all TikTok's fault, but TikTok has kind of taken all the worst learnings from everyone else. So consider a world before the internet. We, broadly speaking, didn't really know a lot. We had a lot of lost information over history. There was no easy way to access information or share it, no way to quickly distill it into a digestible format. So we didn't know a lot, and it took us ages to find out. Now we can find out basically anything at the push of a button extremely quickly. So we lose patience because everything is so within reach. Add on top of that the way that human attention and hashtag engagement has been monetized and weaponized by various companies. And that can be in very interesting ways, like beautiful art is made, stuff that will be very emotional, pull on the heartstrings, a prose that's beautifully written, right? A well-made video or a video game. But then at the other side of things, there is the rage bait, the clickbait, the fake news. There are things that are designed to specifically rile you up, or even like a weird AI YouTube thumbnails or whatever that make you question, what the hell is that? To keep you and your attention in one place so that other entities can make money off you. Social media is a huge part of that, on top of also kind of like sometimes selling your personal information if you sign up. So also add on top of that, things like a global pandemic, loneliness, and the way that we have interacted with the internet. When the internet was kind of mass adopted, it was, people finding each other, finding specific people and community, right? There weren't recommendation-based algorithms, really. Like, if you were on YouTube and you subscribed to a certain person, you would see their videos in the subscription feed in the order that it came up. Now, everything is algorithmically pushed. It is a recommendation, it is what they think you would like based on how much attention you gave something else. That's not great, but that also means that it's kind of easier to manipulate, to figure out what is going to get people's attention and keep them engaged. And so to bring this all back to TikTok, we don't have any patience. We have brains that need to be stimulated by something at all times, and our lizard brains are being manipulated and tickled into, kind of focusing on certain things. And, if something isn't grabbing us straight away, it's really easy to just click off and find the new thing. TikTok, as I will describe in this next bit, is brought up because I think its algorithm is extremely sophisticated. It is, for my money, the best at keeping you engaged. And yeah, that's what I wanted to quickly mention before we get into that. The biggest impact that I think that TikTok has had, outside of the time I spend on it, is the fact that it has completely rewired my brain and my attention span is completely shot. That's not great, because now I am used to being able to scroll to find something that I am interested in, makes me laugh, is thought-provoking, or something that I want to share with my friends. And if I don't find it immediately, I can just quickly scroll away. And it is that slot machine effect. We talked about this in gaming when it comes to loot boxes and stuff. This is the new one that is impacting my life, I guess. It is that slot machine effect, getting hit with those waves of dopamine. And don't even get me started on the fact that there is like social media aspect to it, in terms of I am sharing it with a friend and then I get validation when they like the TikTok. In the war of the attention economy, TikTok is really winning. And if this is not the case for you, if you are able to easily put your phone down and just disconnect from it, more power to you. That is honestly, in this society, something that is very, very cool. It's not the case for everyone, otherwise it wouldn't be watching this video. I mean, overall, let's just say the devil works hard, but whatever algorithm powers the TikTok For You page works way harder. Thank you for that zoom in. I don't want to demonize TikTok completely, don't get me wrong. I don't think I would be using the platform as much as I do if I didn't get enjoyment from it. I have valid complaints about it, but overall it can be used for good as well. You can learn things on it, you can be entertained by it. Awareness and money can be raised for amazing causes, community can be found through TikTok. For gaming specifically, can really change the course of a game's release. If it goes viral, it can bring awareness to it, it can add wish lists. It's a really cool way to cut through the noise. Does that make TikTok a net positive or negative? Well, I can't really tell you the answer to that. I think social media as a whole, I don't know, just look at it.
Should we have connected?
Should we have connected? Kojima, so prescient. And bringing it back around to Disco Elysium, it's kind of funny that social media is what, in part, inspired some of the design of that game. So a few years ago, after the release of Disco Elysium, I interviewed Robert Kurvitz, who was the lead designer and writer, about the game's design. The whole video was supposed to be about the thought cabinet, how that came to be, how it worked. But at the beginning of the interview, we actually went on a fun little tangent about why Disco Elysium's dialogue system is the way it is and why it is in that column. It turns out that it was inspired by Twitter. I refuse to call it X. He brought up the fact that basically all day, every day, all we do is read. We're not necessarily referring to it as reading, but really when you are on your phone, you are scrolling social media or you are reading messages from friends or reading the news or whatever, what you're doing is reading. However, you are being bombarded with so much information, it's not really like you're taking all of it in. So that's not great when you're writing a game with hundreds of thousands of words, a really rich, intense RPG. So they needed a way to make those words stick, make them be punchy, have meaning, crucially make sure that the audience was really taking them in. And that is why, in part, a lot of the game is very confrontational. A lot of the characters call you a pig, or swear at you, or are a small Liverpudlian child who's just got a face that's really punchable.
There may still be a way out.
So Disco Elysium's confrontational nature was really inspired by social media. And the fact that the way that the text goes up the screen is just like Twitter's UI. So this is that real nice, like, circular moment where, I don't know, it's an addictive scroll that keeps you entertained for hours.
There is nothing, only warm primordial blackness. Your conscious ferments in it, no larger than a single grain of malt. You don't have to do anything anymore. Ever. Never, ever.
I also decided to redo my conclusion. Is Disco Elysium captivating for the TikTok user? I think Zaum has done everything they can to make it so. The game works really well. Like, it is using the functionality of the platform. You know, things like swiping or fun interactions like wiping the mirror to reveal the expression. Making sure that the text isn't as overwhelming, you know, it's in shorter bursts, which is more in keeping with how we consume media on that platform now, right? I think making the first 2 episodes free to kind of encourage people to like get in, like try it out. It's non-committal, and then you get invested, and then you'll maybe pay the rest of the money. I think overall, this is the best they could have done to make it work for this platform. The mobile market is absolutely huge. It's so bizarre to me whenever I see people say, oh, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. It's like, no, you bought Activision Blizzard King. King is a big money maker. You know how many billions of dollars Candy Crush makes? And so that mobile market is the one that I guess in my position I don't really think of too much, because I am always focusing on the new and next console games, PC games, and yet I'm walking around with a gaming machine in my pocket, as are billions of other people. And so I think if this is one of the things that gets more and more people to play one of the best games ever made, one of my favorite games of all time, I think that's really cool and exciting. Actually, thinking about how brains used to be before the internet has made me a little bit sad though. But, we're humans. We're making the most of it. And isn't that what it's all about?